Right. So I just saw this thing where the man said, you mustn't judge. And people's been saying that a lot. Oh, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge. Who are you to judge? No, 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 no. That comes from the Bible. Judge not lest ye also be judged. However, context is important because the said Bible, not just in the Old Testament, the said New Testament, because the New Testament said, judge not lest ye be also judged. But the said New Testament also says that you should judge not according to appearance, but you should do righteous judgment. I think that is in the book of John, John 7, maybe 24. So you judge according to righteous judgment. So everything has to be taken in context to understand what the Bible says, because the Bible is a book of governance. Not just governance for society, but governance for educational practices and business and families and community. And it doesn't mean bringing religion, because I do not support religion, but in terms of the balance of society and order. So when an employee is to be accused of something, you're looking at the evidence and so on, and not just going on based on what people say. And you're not just going on, oh, the boss has the appearance of superiority or authority, or the boss speaks so eloquently and so well connected, so he or she is so correct. No. You judge, you look at the facts for what it is and what you don't know and what you do know, and you give a fair and balanced judgment. So you're not just judging based on skin color or age or race, but you're looking at their positions and their titles and their rankings and the power dynamics in the communities, in government, in families, in politics, in organizations. You're looking at that as well. You're also looking at appearance, not just physically, but also in terms of how people project themselves. Remember, you can have wolves in sheep's clothing. People can pretend to be meek and nice, and they're not. And they can have on this act for years, because it's easy to put on an act for years, because it becomes them. It becomes a part of their character and their compartmentalization, right? And we are warned about wolves in sheep's clothing. Sheep is somebody who is a creature who is humble and gentle, and so some people are not as humble as gentle. The day you mess with them, you know what it is. And if you were to see how they operate when they are not being watched, and somebody step on their toe, and how they really feel about people, you would see exactly the wolf in them, who they truly are. So you're not judging based on what you see. Also, it could be the opposite. The person may be loud and boisterous like a woman I knew, and I was dealing with, and people were about to throw her out. But looking at the situation and listening to her, the woman was correct. It was the way that she was being treated. She was provoked. And all the lady wanted was her money in her little inactive account to go and feed her picnic them and pay her rent. And because she kept on going around and around the place and walking for maybe 30 minutes back and forth, this is why the lady was frustrated. So people that think that she's boisterous, she's doing something wrong, blah, 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 blah. No, 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 no. You look at the facts for what it is, right? Some things are as they see, some things are not as they are seen, some things are not. So some things are, some things are not. So you have to dig up and to look at the facts. So people will say, judge not, lest ye be also judged. But everything appears in context, because the said Bible, John, I think 7:24, says, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. So if you look at the context of the woman who was being stoned when she was caught in adultery, the only person who was worthy of judging her there was Jesus Christ. So maybe it really, who knows what the original translation said, whatever language the Bible was written in. Maybe it said, judge not wrongfully, lest ye be also judged wrongfully. Or, right, where you give the fair balance. So maybe she was being judged wrongfully, I don't know. But what I do know as a fact is that the only person who was worthy of judging her there was Jesus Christ. And that is why he kneeled down and he said, ye hypocrites, which of you is without sin? Cast the first stone. And they could not. So a lot of them were doing, some were doing worse, some were doing the same. and some were doing less than what she was doing. So all of them was guilty of something. Maybe it was the man who wanted to stone her. He wanted to throw her to the wolves. He get what he wanted, he satisfy himself, so he wanted to kill off the woman to hide him shame. That could be a case too. It could be that he wanted to protect his family. He wanted to protect his wife and his family and his image in the community. Right? So he's thinking, oh, let me get rid of this woman because, oh, in a one the shame that comes with his actions. And so he may have been in the back of the crowd, egging on everybody else to stone her. It could have also been the wife of the man, because she was embarrassed by the situation, but she don't want to address the man. She don't want to address the man caught in adultery. She want to address the woman, as many women do. We want to fight off the woman for what? He had a contract with her. As a grown man, he made a contract with her. Right? The woman didn't make a contract with him, and I bet it's him proposition the woman. He made a contract with her, and he knew he had an obligation. He's the one who betrayed her. The woman had no obligation to her. So while what the woman did was wrong, she had no obligation to her. It was her husband who betrayed her. But in order to save face, in order to bring her marriage, to say, oh yeah, he loves me. No. It had nothing to do with you. Lady, you didn't do anything wrong. It's your husband who was just a nasty guy. Right? A nasty man and very dishonest. And now he's trying to throw the woman to the wolf. Right? So, she wants to save face, no one to live in denial. So maybe she was in the back of the crowd to egging on people to stone the woman to get rid of the problem. Because the fact is that the man is going to cheat with somebody else. If it wasn't she, it would have been somebody else. Not only that, who knows which other woman, even maybe in the said crowd, who he had committed adultery with. It's just that because with this woman, he was caught. So, from their perspective, the direct contacts, nobody was judging fairly. Right? And the crowd themselves, they were also guilty of things similar and plus diverse things. And so they were judging her, right? They were judging her wrongfully. So they were to be stoned as well. It's just that they were not caught. But remember, Jesus Christ is all knowing because he's the Son of God. And so he knew more than the FBI, more than the CIA, more than KBG. He knew. He knew everything about them. Right? And so they needed to be stoned. Some of them should have been stoned a long time. Right? But because people don't know, they operate in this duplicity and they have this forgotten memory. But God's memory is never erased. His judgment may be slow, but it is coming. And his judgment also is for good. His judge is to erase, to condemn, to clean up, also to reward, because you also have righteous judgment, and to set free. Because if somebody is imprisoned by a situation, he also comes to set the captives free, because they're imprisoned wrongfully by a corrupt person or corrupt system. Right? So whatever way that they are imprisoned, whether mentally, socially, by people, society, whatever imprisonment, spiritually, he comes to set the captives free. So judgment also is for good, to set people free, to liberate, as well as to punish, to clean up, and to set a new order. So judgment serves many different purposes. So they were not in a position to judge. However, it says you should not judge according to appearance, but you should judge righteous judgment. So we're called to judge. However, we're called to judge in the right context. So you're not judging based on what you see. You're waiting for the evidence. You're waiting on time. And you're looking from a pure perspective. Pure not means a perfection, but you're looking from the situation, from a balanced judgment. Right? Looking at the evidence, what is seen, what is known, what is unseen, what is in the gray area. You're looking at everything in totality. And therefore you are in a position to judge righteously and fairly. A lot of society, they're very careless, and its judgment does not come with title or position. Title position has nothing to do with good judgment. It has to do with the efficacy of the person being judged, no matter the race, the creed, the color, the class, or the job title. And that is why people must judge, but the right person, the right attitude, and the right context and information must be present. So we are indeed called to judge. Not all of us, right? Not all of us, but we are called to make righteous judgment. Who else is gonna judge us? Who else? Well, there's no somebody from Mars, Jupiter, Saturn. We have to be the judges in our families, in our communities, in our education system, in our workplaces and our groups. We are the judges that are. We're formal and informal judges, but we ought to be fair and just in our judgment. And that is the truth and nothing but the truth. Amen.